Today we're installing a set of running boards on a Nissan NV van. And before us we have all the brackets, hardware, instructions, tools you're going to use, and a nice new Nissan NV van. The installation of these brackets requires some drilling, so therefore we have a drill. We got an impact tool to help with tightening the nuts and bolts. We're going to measure the location of the brackets and put them in the right spot, and off we go. Now on a Nissan NV that we're working on today, we're going to be focusing on two different styles of running board. This black style, which also comes with a polished finish which shines like chrome, and it's got a rubber tread, nice molded end flaps. The fasteners slide in this groove on the underside of this aluminum extrusion, and these screws are what bolts to the brackets. We put some painter's tape on here so the bolts wouldn't come through. This running board is called the grip plank running board. It's got an aggressive tread pattern. Ice and snow will not collect on here. The fasteners have a different type of mounting system using galvanized fasteners and these washers we call diamond washers. Got a rubber bumper on each end and take some different mounting hardware on the underside, like this. If you look at the seam where the fender meets the rocker trim, we have the tape measure starting there, and we made a black mark on a pinch weld at 15.5 and at 29. These are the center of the brackets, are going to land on those measurements. And we're measuring once again from this seam right here, 15.5 from that seam, 29 inches from that seam. The brackets are marked. This one says driver's side first bracket, and it'll go up like that, right on the center, and we're going to drill the holes. Okay, now we're drilling the first bracket in. The bracket has a mark on it telling you the location from the body seam. Okay, so we marked it, we drilled the first bolt, and we're going to drill the second bolt, but before we do, we make sure that that bracket is level and perpendicular to the body and up nice and tight against the underside of the body. Okay, we pre-drilled the holes that the self-tapping screws are going to go in. We pre-drilled them already with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and we're putting them in with the impact now. You have a choice of three positions on these holes. You can use any two you'd like. You'll notice that on the underside here, there's a piece of foil tape. What it is a little void or hole from Nissan under each one of these pieces of foil tape. But we have, again, we have 3 holes in that bracket, and any of those 2 holes you can use, and if need be, you can take a look to see if the void is going to be an issue, and if it is, then use a different hole. Now the upright bracket we're mounting now loosely with a nut and bolt. We're not going to tighten that just yet, but we can orient that bracket one of a couple different ways. We chose to orient that bracket this way, but you can flip it around and face the front if you'd like. You just want it to land on flat metal properly and not to be impeded by any like that little plastic peg sticking down. These bolts that hold the vertical bracket, you're going to want to put them so that the long part of the bolt with the nut on it is away from your ability to put screws in vertically. So what we did in this case, we oriented the bracket so that it faces rear, lands on flat metal, and we put the nuts on the front side so we can easily put the tool to put the self-tappers up into the metal without any difficulty there. It's not necessary to pull the plastic step well up, but we did in this case just to show that there are no wires in the way. So when you put screws from underneath the step well area, you don't have to worry about hitting anything critical. And there's plenty of room for the tips of the screws to come right up through without impeding on the underside of the plastic step well liner. Okay, put the self-tappers right up into the underside of the wheel. And that's that. That takes care of the vertical bracket. And then, of course, we're going to tighten those 2 5/16 bolts, and that bracket will be done. That bracket's done. That takes care of the second bracket on the driver's side. Now you'll notice that our brackets have multiple holes in them, the horizontal brackets. The reason for this is because we have a couple different styles of running boards that utilize the same brackets. Now, the black running boards we're installing right now have the bracket set, horizontal bracket set, such that there's the very last hole, the inboard hole, here is not used. You're going to use the hole next to it, skip a hole, and the next one, like there. So, depending on which running boards, the instructions that come, the written instructions will show which hole set that you use. Okay, we got the horizontal brackets loosely installed. They're hanging. We're going to drop the black running board onto the horizontal brackets now. We got the bolts in the track like we showed you earlier, and we're going to flip that over and put that right on the horizontal brackets. Straighten this. So we got this step pretty much where we want it to go. We have an infinite amount of adjustability on this shelf, but that's the kind of location where you want it. We end up being about 8 inches from the front of where a mud flap would normally go, right from that wheel well lip. And I'm going to show you what it looks like underneath. Here's what we look like underneath. All our brackets in place. So here's the end result now on this driver's side step. The plastic step well was 19 inches, still is 19 inches off the street level, but our step is at just around 10. So we took that 19-inch leap and cut that in half. Okay, here we are jumping on this driver's side step, and this whole van is moving. It's a solid install. And let me tell you, Gary here is not exactly Tinkerbell. So in he goes. And out he goes. Okay, on the grip plank running boards, the bracket locations are as far down as they can go and as far out as they can go, meaning you're going to use the last sets of holes to make that horizontal bracket come down as far as possible and out as far as possible. And what you get is a completely usable, strong step. Okay, we're laying underneath the passenger side here, and the brackets are in place loosely because we're going to hang the running board on, get it level, and then we're going to swing the middle brackets up. So we put the horizontal brackets really on the front and rear in position to accept the running board, and we're going to let the others hang. Here's another view of the brackets. They're all in place, and here we go. Okay, so what we got is the horizontal bracket in the rear is in place, and the horizontal bracket in the front. The middle two are just hanging, and you'll see why in just a minute. We just hung the running board on the front and rear brackets, and the center two brackets are hanging loose. The reason why we did it this way is once you get the front and the rear into place and you're happy with the running board placement, you're happy with the projection from the body, and everything's where you want it, you can tighten the front and rear bracket and then swing the other brackets right up into place, which is what we're doing now. That's how it's done in the easy way.